Check it. You and me on the same track. Boys, stop that automatic mismatch like Shaq versus John Contact. In the spirit of pop, I bomb first. Contact, Mortal Kombat raps, fatalities to new jacks who think that at the age of 42 I should quit rap. You'll come home hearing your mama's moans.
Okay, explain the title of the new album, Michigan and the Mecca.
Well, I guess I'll take that first question. Basically, it's a combination. You know, I'm from Lansing, Michigan, home of Michigan State. Go Spartans. My man Ras Beats is from Queens, New York. And I said it in a rhyme. And it sounded good to both of us. So he was like, let's run with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We wanted to get something to kind of tie it together. You know what I mean? Like to play on both of our different, locations, but still like that it's the coming together, right? So, and yeah, like Mad Dog said, I thought it sounded dope the way he said it in the intro. So we were like, yeah, let's go with it. But yeah, just to show point out right away, Michigan and the Mecca, the two different places, and just that combination, make that clear right from the go.
Okay. Now you guys did the Neck Brace song a few years back. How did you decide to do a full project?
I'll answer first, and then Mad Dog probably got something to add. It came from basically we did that song, and I always loved how that song came out. So basically, just on some real organic, love music, love hip hop stuff. I don't even know which one of us, but we were both like, let's do some more stuff. And that turned into another single we did, Church. And after that, we just kind of kept going. I'm not even sure if it was supposed to be an EP or an album at first, but we just kept going until we had like a nice meal, you know what I mean, with all the different parts needed. And yeah, to me, it was real natural. It was just like I liked hearing him over my beats, and I was like, yeah, we need to do more of this. So yeah, Mad Dog, I'm sure you got something to add to it.
Hey, it worked out basically how he's saying it. Neck Brace got a lot of great feedback. I shot a video for it. Then we did Church, and I loved how Church came out. Not saying I didn't love how Neck Brace came out, but Church was like, it kind of brought something extra out of me with how the beat went and how I had to adapt to the beat. And I'm always willing to collaborate with people that's about their business. And he showed early on that he was about his business. So the next step, organically, let's do a project.
Yeah, that's always my favorite way to work, when you're just like, for me, if I'm like, yeah, I wanna do some more. That's my favorite way to work. You know what I mean? Like when you both just like, how about this beat? How about this rhyme? How about this beat? You got that energy back and forth. For me, that's just, it's natural. That's like getting up in the morning and just doing your thing. That's just like as easy as going to the store. Because I always make beats, and when somebody, you know what I mean, when you feel like their rhyme style, their concept, their voice, and everything fit what you do, it's just like, let's do it. So that's my favorite way to work by far. Absolutely.
So what was the process like doing Michigan and the Mecca?
Well, let's see. I can't, off the top of my head, I think it took about 4 months, maybe 5. I did a lot of writing at work. I like writing at work because when people piss me off, at least my mind gets to running and get to, coming up with shit. Or, 8 hours on the gig, you gotta have something to do. I operate a high-low. I work in a warehouse. So I'm all on my own all day long. So I did a lot of writing at work. And usually in a 1-hour recording session, I can do 2 joints easily. Everything. So I was trying to, double up sessions. And I'll be honest. This project might have challenged me more than any other project because it was times when I was like, all right, we done. Let's go. Raz was like, no, I sent you 2 beats or 3 beats. Check these out and let me know what you think. Then I'm like, oh shit. Like that. So it challenged the pen and it kind of brought back a love of doing it back into my soul. Because sometimes as MCs, man, you're running on the hamster wheel. You're putting
Right.
your all in these projects. Sometimes you feel like they just do. Sometimes they don't. So in this instance, in this project, I didn't give a damn how anybody felt.
Mhm.
I just basically I was swinging for the fences as a baseball reference.
Right. Yeah, I like that, like the feeling challenged part, and like I definitely, um, I like that too. I if I send a couple of beats and if you were like, yeah, that was cool. I know there was one beat in particular that I was like, yo, I want to use this. Wow, this will be perfect. And it wasn't for you. And to me, that's also challenging. That's like, all right, well then I gotta either make some more stuff or I gotta see what I have. How about this? How about that? And I think that's how both parties get the best out of the other person, not just by like, okay, I'm gonna write to something I'm kind of feeling, but wait to something that like inspires you and makes you go, oh, I gotta write to this. I gotta write right now. And yeah, I like hearing that. You know what I mean? As long as you don't do it too much, it's always good to challenge each other. I think you get the best music out of it that way.
Okay. On the single Neanderthal, you say if lyrics don't matter, it's probably because yours is weak. And if that's the case, you probably shouldn't even speak. It made me think about how the modern wave of mainstream rappers don't care about lyrics and they kind of only make vibe music. What do you think sparked the change from lyrical hip hop being the standard to it being pushed to the background?
The money. Once money started, how can I put it? Not the bling bling era, because there was still lyricism going on during the bling bling era. But the babies of the bling bling era, yeah, they're like, look, if I get some heads nodding,
Right.
I've heard songs that's only like 8 bar verses and 16 bar hooks. So you know what their whole concentration is on.
Right.
And honestly, I'm not mad at that. There's a
Right.
there's always been a place for party music in hip hop.
Mm.
It all
Right.
started and originated with making the crowd move. But
Right.
if you forget about the essence of it and the true organic passion that an MC is supposed to have, then you're almost making pop music.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel just to add to that. I mean, I never wrote a single lyric in my life. Obviously, that's not what I do. But I feel like from digging for samples, like you just listen to so much music. Like I've loved hip hop for so long, but through digging, I listen to just all kinds of music, and like great lyrics is great lyrics. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You can hear something 40 years later, uh, whatever type of music it is, and just the lyric where you go like, oh, damn. You know what I mean? Um, and I think there's always been hip hop and other forms of music. There's always been very meaningful stuff, and there's always been stuff that kind of didn't mean that much, as far as any substance. And I think hip hop definitely has times where the substance is not exactly what's pushed to the forefront. But thankfully you got people like Mad Dog who still focuses on that. You know what I mean? And to me, because that's what I love when I hear some lyrics and I'm like, oh my damn, he said that. You know what I mean? And if you catch a lyric, like you heard the song 10, 15 times and you catch a lyric and you're like, man, okay, that's what he meant. You know, that's the best thing to me. So I'm glad there's people doing it still.
If I could add on to that just a little,
For
I
sure.
think that's part of the beauty of growing up where I grew up. Lansing is like an hour away from Detroit, so there's no real regional. You know how regions are about their regions. They love their
Right.
regions. They diss all the other ones. But
Right.
in Michigan, like I grew up, I had an uncle that had the E40 album. I had another cousin that had the UGK. I would watch BDP and KRS One, Love's Gonna Get You. Come on. So
Right.
I got to experience and digest all aspects of hip hop from all different angles.
Mhm.
So when some people say West Coast ain't lyrical, I know that's a goddamn lie. And when some people
Right.
say
Right.
South isn't lyrical, I'll be honest, a lot of it isn't. But there is MCs that represent the South that get it in. So I got a smorgasbord, a buffet of
Right.
hip hop growing up.
Definitely. I'm in Chicago. It's the same thing. The same thing.
Yeah.
I was raised on Eric B. and Rakim, Ghetto Boys, Two Live Crew, NWA,
Right.
like stuff from everywhere. We listen to everything.
Mm.
And man, like and you could kind of see it in Chicago. Like if you look at Chicago MCs, Twista's not like Common. Common's not like Lupe. Chief Keef is not like Kanye. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Chicago has got so many different flavors, man. And
Mhm.
it's because well we're different, different neighborhoods have different type of people, but we took from everywhere in the country. And I think that's the case for most of the Midwest in hip hop.
Yeah, very non-biased.
Yeah, yeah,
We don't give a damn where you're from as long as the music's good.
yeah, completely, completely. Dude, I went to a show in 1989.
Ooh.
I was 12. EPMD was the headliner.
Mm.
Mm.
DOC,
Nice. Nice.
Two Live Crew,
Oh
Right.
wow.
and Slick Rick. Right?
Wow. Right.
I
That's a
mean,
gumbo right there.
all so different. Everybody's different, you know.
Right.
And I've been to a bunch of tours like that. And when I saw NWA, Too Short was with him, but so was Kid and Play and Kwame.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like at
Right.
one time,
Right.
hip hop wasn't so segregated, and
Right.
and different people could rock together, man. And it's definitely missing that. It's missing the variety, the
There you
diversity.
go. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for the young ladies growing up because if you're a young lady and you want to get in hip hop, if you look at the climate, you have to shake your ass and be half naked to make an
Mm.
impact. And that's just totally wrong.
Yeah, yes and no. I understand
Well,
what you're saying on the mainstream level,
there you go.
Right. Right.
but
Right.
you can look at Shay Nora, you can look at Rhapsody, you know what I mean?
Right.
Cyrock. I love
Right.
Cyrock. That,
Cyrock. So,
that girl's a beast. Jean Grey used to be my favorite female MC.
yeah,
Mm. Mm.
dope.
Yes, it's dope.
Fucking MC Light just dropped the dope album.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
Mm.
it's like there are women out there that don't show their ass, but who gets the most play? You know?
They get
Right.
the magazine covers and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They get talked about a lot, and it's doesn't matter if they could rhyme or have talent. It,
Right.
it's unfortunate, man. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. If
Mm.
if that's all you see and you're a young girl,
It's gonna influence you a little.
yeah,
Either you gonna go towards that or you gonna rebel and rebuke it.
Yeah. Go the other way. Right. Right. Yeah. I agree.
look at how dope the '90s was. If you had Lauryn Hill and Bahamadia and like you had Kim and Foxy, but you had variety. You had so
Yeah, you
much.
got Rod Digger right behind it.
Rod Digger. Oh man, so many
Mhm.
dope
And
MCs.
and they was cool. They wasn't beefing either. And, Foxy and Kim had their little thing, but in
Right.
the end all, you know, if Lauren and Rod Digger both from Jersey, they didn't
Mhm.
never had no beef. They rhymed together.
Right.
Um, yeah, man. You got Gangsta Boo representing the South, Mia X,
Mhm.
Right. Right.
Rage.
Mhm.
I love Rage. Rage is a
Great.
beast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of these women, I don't even know their music like that, but I feel like they're always fighting with each other. It seems like that. Isn't it like always Cardi and whoever? I feel like Nicki fights with all of them.
I think it's pushed because you have fewer female artists. So I think a lot of times before and now they just get pinned against each other, whether they really want to or not. It kind of
Yeah.
gets into that thing. I think a lot of it's because there's fewer. You know what I mean? Like it certainly happens with male MCs, but there's so many, and I think with females, it does happen a lot where they kind of just, so and so is better than so and so. There's always an element with that, as far as the competitive of hip hop competitiveness. But I think for women, it's more because there's, sometimes it might seem like there only is a handful. So we always gotta like who's the best,
Yeah.
or who sells the most, or whatever way you judge who's the best by. So I think that's a big part of it. I mean, there's always a competitive nature in hip hop, of course, but I think it's pushed extra hard just again because there's fewer of them. So I
Yeah.
think that's kind of unfortunate where sometimes it's like, if you make good music, then that's you know let's just get more good music from more people first. I personally think that's why because there's fewer, so it's that focus.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
total sense.
yeah.
Think
Um,
about it. Not a lot of female rappers collab.
Hmm.
no.
There's not a lot of collaborations between two, three, four just females.
Right. Yeah, that's true. There's been a few records I can think of, but yeah, it's not that many. Yeah.
Well, I don't. Wasn't there just some girl who just dropped a Lotto? I feel like Lotto just collab with somebody, Glorilla or something.
Glorilla, I think it was. She just dropped.
Hmm.
I think they did something together. I think you'll see it sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know
Yeah,
a couple years ago, or maybe 10 years ago, Moni Love did an album with like three other MCs that was
oh,
like
sure, okay.
on the come up. I forgot the name of it. I interviewed her and talked to her about it.
Hmm.
Oh God, it was like one girl from Orlando. I think her name is My Verse.
Okay.
It was like her and three other girls, and they had a group and put out a project.
Yeah, I'm sure they're out there. I'm
Yeah,
sure they're out there writing lyrics. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of if they get the attention or not. But there's gotta be, you know what I mean, people out there, that like those two you mentioned with Moni Love. It's got to be a bunch of them.
yeah,
It's just there's a lot of artists. There's always been a lot of artists, but I think like there's a lot of artists now. So sometimes it's tricky to get that attention. You know what I mean? You gotta work hard. You gotta be persistent. So, but yeah, there's male and female. There's so many dope artists out there that all of a sudden I hear people just out of nowhere for me, and I'm like, oh, what's this? You know what I mean? So it's just um kind of off topic, but it's a good time for music, even though there's so much. Like I've been really like kind of just looking for new music the last couple of weeks, and I feel like I heard a lot where it was just like, really okay. Like sometimes I feel like maybe there's not that many people kind of keeping the sound I love around. You know what I mean? Sometimes it seems because it's not the sort of the mainstream sound. But sometimes you come across stuff where it's just like you're like, okay, it's still being made, and a lot of it, you gotta look for it, for sure.
yeah. You unfortunately you have to look for it. And I have to be honest,
Right.
I never heard of Mad Dog. So
Mhm.
your introduction was my
Okay.
first time hearing him. I'm like, this dude is crazy. I
Right.
I need to talk to this guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, man.
I,
Yeah.
I appreciate that compliment.
yeah, man. Your shit is so dope. Okay, the on that topic, the album is full of dope and funny punchlines. Uh, the two that stood out to me are on the Magnificent Misfit.
Mm.
Uh, I'm a proud asshole. My head is Barry Bonds big. You really have to know like
Yeah,
Barry Bonds to know why that's funny.
right. And you got to know the circumstances and everything
God,
around it, the controversy. Yeah,
that's so
yeah.
dope. And when I die, I want every chick I ever fucked to stand up and say I hate his guts, but damn, he used to beat mine up. Incredible,
Boy,
bro.
I just came up with that shit. Honestly, there's no backstory to that. It's just I was thinking one day it would be funny at my funeral. You got like 9, 10 chicks stand up and be like, I hated that nigga, but boy, yeah,
I'm sure that's happened somewhere in time.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So, how do you come up with the hilarious rhymes, man? Do they come as you're writing, or do they just pop up and you just jot them down?
Well, I have to keep it honest. Sometimes before I start writing, I'll draw inspiration from other artists that I just love. I love Slaughterhouse, the group
Mm.
with Royce, Crooked Eye, Joel.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll listen to them. Ain't trying to bite them or nothing, but it's kind of like revving up my engine.
Mm.
Like you hear what these brothers are coming with, you better come with something.
Right.
And also,
Feel that.
a long time ago, a local legend, rest in peace, Big Perm. Yeah, he took his name from Friday. And
Mm.
one time I gave him like my very first mixtape. He was like, you a comical rapper. And at first, instead of getting mad, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I might be. But as long as the listener doesn't eject it and they keep listening and they like it,
Mm.
you can call me what you want.
Mm.
So I try to say shit that you ain't never heard before. And I aim high.
No, some of my
Yeah.
favorite rappers are funny. Willie D makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Old Dirty Bastard made me laugh. Like I think that's missing in hip hop. Biz Markie was funny. Rest in
Funny. Well,
um
and man, I mean, the whole braggadocious, rah rah. Yeah. But sometimes you gotta be a little lighthearted.
Right.
You can't take
Yeah.
yourself too damn seriously.
yeah. Raz, he
Mhm.
mentioned listening to Slaughterhouse
Mhm.
inspire him a little bit. Is there a producer that does that for you? Like you hear him and go, okay, I need to get back in the lab.
Yeah, a bunch of people. Always like Pete Rock. I was just listening to his Uncommon album earlier. Um, the dude Crisis who worked with Flea Lord. Like I listened to a bunch of their stuff recently, and I was like, okay. Marco Polo, Muggs with how productive he is too. Tons of old stuff. Um, I like hearing stuff that like where I'm like, damn, not even like I want to do my version of that, but like, damn, I gotta go try to do something to get on that level right now. And I love it too when you feel like I might not reach that level, but let me go sit by the machine. So yeah, definitely those producers. I mean, yeah, Knots for sure too is incredible. When I hear his stuff, I mean, that's he's one of those people that's almost intimidating because his stuff is so crazy. Um, and just tons of old records, listening to old stuff and, getting inspired from hearing, this little bit on this little piece and wanting to work with that. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Just yeah, I think that's yeah, without taking anybody's idea, without biting anybody, just like yeah, it's energy. You know what I mean? It's energy. You hear stuff and you're like, oh, I gotta go create now. You know, you might before that you might feel like making a beat, but now you're like, okay, I'm turning the machine on right now. I'm getting these records. I'm getting to work. So yeah, definitely those people. Um, Also just like listening to old stuff. I listened to some Jungle Brothers recently, and just like the first and the set. I mean, the first album to me is that bridge between old school and new school kind of time, and just really like going into something that I listened to 10 million times, going in and listening to it again, and trying to be like, I feel like every time I listen to it, it's kind of with new ears and okay, all right. So yeah, a bunch of stuff. Listening to music is one of my favorite things to do. So tons of stuff inspires me. Tons of stuff.
Okay. Mad Dog, the song Black Man's Blues is unlike any other song on the album. You touch on so many things that plague the black man in America. Why was it important for you to write that song?
Well, I feel like in some aspects, hip hop has kind of lost touch with the common brother, with the 9 to 5, two kids. You get home, you watch the news every night, you see what's going on. Not a lot of people, I think, really want to address the issues that we have, and it's so damn many of them. Like I've been with my dad the last 3 days because he's been suffering from back pain, but he doesn't have all his ducks in a row. So I can only help him so far.
Mm.
And I know it's a lot of older black men from the South. My dad is from Mississippi, and that don't like going to the doctor.
Mm.
Can't stand that shit. Don't trust them at all. And when you
Mm.
look at history, you can't blame them.
Mhm.
It's a
Mm.
Tuskegee experiment. Martin Luther King, the controversy about he wasn't dead yet.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to get him to understand, it's 2024 now. And even
Mm.
though it's 2024 now, he still looked at me and was like, you don't think they ain't doing that shit? Doing
Mm.
something?
Mm.
And I had to put my mind, kind of like put my feet in his shoes and see where he's coming from. Like,
Right. Right.
so that aspect of it, I wanted to make a song I can play for my nephews and not have to worry about them hearing something crazy or anything. That's why I kind of
Okay.
included them into the song because I don't have any kids of my own.
Mm.
So my wife calls me Uncle Daddy. Funny shit. But I go to basketball games. I got a niece that's in volleyball. And when you see something like it was a young kid got shot in Cleveland a while ago. He had a fake gun. He was in the park by himself, and the police shot him.
Tamir Rice.
Fake gun. Yeah, Tamir Rice. My bad. I should know that. But so I'm looking at my nephews, and we out shopping, and they see some BB guns, and they get excited. Like, oh, you can't, you
Mm.
know. And of course, it shouldn't be that way. But let's be real. That's the way that it is. So it's.
Mm.
I feel like it's something every man. I mean, look, with the school shootings and shit, every man that has a kid or a nephew or a niece, you got some kind of fear in your heart. The
Mm.
Lord, I don't want to have that, I don't want to get that phone call.
Right.
So I made that, man, just that's out of my heart.
Hmm.
Mm.
All right. Last question then. Who is the Michigan and the Mecca album made for?
Want to go first, Raz?
Yeah. That's a good question. That's a good question. Um, I've heard people talk about over the last couple of years, which has first at first is a crazy thing to hear about just cutting off the audience that your music is not for. Because I think as an artist, a lot of times you want to appeal to everybody. Um, but I feel like our music is for the music we made on this album is for somebody that likes their beats, that gives you a certain feeling when you hear them, that head nod. Maybe you might, make a face when you hear the beat, and you want to hear an MC that's talking about some things, whether that's good wordplay, some slick talk, whether that's, funny stuff, like we talked about punchlines, or some of the songs with a little bit more meaning. It's somebody, to me, it's besides ourselves, for people that want to take an album and listen to it, ideally. You know what I mean? Somebody who was like, I don't need to just listen to 30 seconds. If these guys got some that's worth my time, I'm gonna listen to the whole thing. I'm gonna listen to the whole album. You know what I mean? Like, so it's for listeners, somebody who's, I'm gonna sit down with this, whether that's on the train or in the car at home or whatever, but somebody who's really gonna listen, and who's gonna want us to meet a certain standard. I mean, I definitely welcome that too. Like, expect, listen for beats that you want to be a certain standard, the emceeing, the mixing of the album, the sound of the album. So somebody who wants a certain standard. So like a critical listener. I guess that's my name for it right now, a critical listener. A hip hop head, but critical, yeah.
I'd say on my end, I make music for like rebels, outcasts, people that might not be the most popular person. You might not be the most popular person in school, but you're okay with that.
Mm.
And you actually like that. The anti-industry types, the sick of this mainstream shit. You don't watch BET. You don't watch MTV. You still got a pair of Timbs in the closet. But you got a Kango too.
Right.
And you used to rock the starter jacket back in the day. I make music for people 30, 35 and up, because I feel like that's a lost demographic when it comes to music. Everybody wants to get the young kids' attention, and I understand why.
Right.
But I'm like, wait a minute, like we ain't went nowhere. We still love hip hop. How shit, we got jobs, so we got money to go to shows and shit. So
right.
I feel like I'm 42, turned 43 on the 15th, and just too old to be rapping. No, I despise that shit. I hate it. Like, and there's no other. I got a homie named Sincere that says it best. Hip hop is not the NBA. If you pull a hamstring, you can still spit. There's no, there's no ACL, there's no concussion protocol. As long as I can deliver, let me deliver. Some of the best cooks are the oldest ones.
Yep. Right.
All right. Maddog McGraw Ras Beats. Thank you for joining therealhiphop.com.
Hey, man, appreciation to you for the opportunity, man.
No doubt.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us, talking to us about the album.
Nah, for sure, man. Good luck with the project.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Peace.
Living in a zombie nation, mindless followers, idiots whose diets consist of ramens and tilapia. Doc said if I keep drinking, my liver will be demolished. So I started making funeral arrangements, at least I'm honest. 3 pills for blood